Episode number 381.
I don't do it for the money. I don't do it for, whatever benefits. I do it because I love the process and I'm having fun. And to me, it's not work at all. Like I could do this 24/7, 365 days a year until I drop dead and I'll be happy about it.
Welcome to the Be Real Show with Travis Too Tall and Huff, where we talk about life, dreams, social media, and business.
Well, hello and welcome to the Be Real Show with Travis Too Tall and Huff. Folks, you know your boy is always fired up and ready to bring you some energy, light, and some value in your days, nights, weekends, or whenever you are listening to the show today. But I think after this show, you're going to want to think about your curation, your collection, and the way you collect, smart, wise, and things like that. As we know, I brought you guys more and more hobby talk, more and more collectibles and autographs and Panini Upper Deck, etc. But I love people in the hobby that are doing this day in, day out. But also the Great Curator has an incredible YouTube channel. Go follow him on YouTube. Let's get him to the 4,000. I think it was 4,000 goal here soon. But most importantly, dude, you're putting out tons of great content in the hobby. But take me back into your journey. Were you always into cars and collectibles and things like that as a kid?
Well, I've been collecting. Well, first of all, thank you for having me here, Travis. I appreciate
Absolutely.
it. And man, your energy is like infectious. I'm ready to go through a wall right now.
Let's talk about this. Let's go.
So, I've been collecting ever since I was a little kid. Even where it started off was like toys, cards, memorabilia, comics, all that stuff. I did all that stuff as a kid, and I've been in and out of it throughout the years as my life has changed in different stages here and there.
Right.
But I've always been a collector, and not just a collector casually. I've always been a real curator. Like I'm looking for rare, cool pieces that fit my collection. I catalog everything I take care of it. So I've always kind of had that mindset. But more recently with cards, after the big boom of last year, I kind of just said, okay, you know what? Things are changing, right? Because over the last 25, 30 years of collecting, it wasn't cool. You know what I mean? Like there wasn't a lot of money in it. It wasn't kind of cool. It was kind of like for kids, basically.
Right.
But now I think that we are in I guess you could call it the golden age of collecting, where it's cool. Number one, it's there's more collectibles than ever before. So the hobby is striving. The products out there are amazing. And three, it's profitable. Right. So now it's like, I feel like I was made for this era. This is where I can strive. So I've been full on the last year. I mean, I got a full-time job and everything, but as far as a hobby goes, it's like a second full-time job, really.
Right. So the ways so you've always collected, like me, a lot of people know throughout the show, I always mention, I collected a lot of these autographs by sending them letters. I went on startiger.com now. And when I was a kid, this is 25 years ago, and over time, the Great Curator, I have now put some of those things on my eBay store, the ones especially that don't have my name on them, etc., and let other people appreciate them. You know what I mean? Some of them are authenticated, some are not, obviously, but some people will buy them if it's a good value. It is authentic because I came from the source. But a lot of times, now we know in the hobby, it's all about things getting graded. Taking something. I like this one, the magic, the magic, baby, magic. But I know you like the PMGs, baby. I know you like the PMGs. So I'm waiting until PSA opens in 2024 for the value grading again. Right. I'm a value collector too, man. I like the value prices. But I was grateful that I did at some point take advantage of those bulk opportunities. Because we'll probably never see $10 to $15 pricing grading from PSA ever again.
Right.
Just with inflation alone, they could at least say it's 20 for bulk. It probably be, my buddy says probably 30. I don't know.
I could see that.
$30 bulk. It's fair. That's SGC right now. That's fair. That's kind of what SGC is at. And you get the PSA basically, which is, let's just be real, that's what sells. Right. More than any of the other ones. Love, BGS, love the other ones, but PSA, it holds the value in the market and the resale value if you're going to put the time in grading. A lot of what I've learned is you don't need to grade. I mean, I'm looking at a stack of cards. Like I always list cards every day, guys, on eBay. I'm looking at these cards I listed on eBay today, and one of them within one minute or two of me listening to them after I'm done, sold with $5 card.
Nice.
So what I do is, constantly work at the hustle of selling singles on the eBay, because I think there's a big value in the hobby. I tell this to the guys all the time in the breaker space, etc. If you're sitting around with a box of cards, man, you got money. You got to just put a little time in learning eBay, listing them, take a photo, make a photo box. It's a hustle. It's not easy, Dan. It's not as easy as buying a $500 card and selling it for $2,000 later, and things like that. But working your way up to that, and also diversifying your overall portfolio, if you can be selling singles, I look at it as an annuity, right? Like, I'm putting 4,000 inventory items on eBay. It sells over time. I don't know exactly when it's going to sell, but it provides constant income, and then that funds the hobby to buy bigger cards. Buy a Charizard or buy a bigger card, and because I think in the hobby there's a lot of different levels, right? Like, and I found actually after having the eBay store, a lot of female collectors in the hobby.
Oh, really?
A lot of female. Oh, absolutely. On the eBay store, time and time again, with the $5 or less market or $10 or less cards, they're buying their favorite players that they like to follow, and they buy a couple of them. And I constantly see female names on my eBay when we're listening. I'm like, that's awesome. So I like to see that too. You don't know if they're the ages a lot of times on an eBay, account, because it's just someone's name, but you can guess if it's a female, it's a female name, so it's good to see two females in the hobby. I think that's another amazing thing. So you specifically like to do work the shows as well, I noticed, right? So you like to talk about the shows. You go out to shows because you're down in Southern California. A lot of good shows down there, right?
Right. We're spoiled here. We have shows like every weekend, like multiple shows every weekend. So I think I was looking at my calendar this year. I was like, man, I've been to like almost like 60 shows this year. So yeah, that's really my area that I like to play in, mainly because I love the community behind it. I could list and sell all this stuff online and everything like that, but it's just like I get so much joy out of going out there, being part of the community, meeting people, talking to people, working deals in person, like that hustle. That's what I love to do about in this space.
Absolutely. That's the beautiful thing is there's so many different things to do. I mean, there's just like in business, right? There's no one right answer. And so you find your, niche, if you want to call it, in working the deals, building the community. Obviously, you got your online community too, which is helping you probably funnel deals and things like that. Right. And then you grade as well. Do you grade as well, or do you just mostly buy graded cards?
Mostly, I probably like 80% buy graded cards, buy or trade graded cards, and I'll grade certain cards that weren't it. I mean, it's been difficult the last 6 months since PSA shut down, like you said, but I'll probably get more into it as things start to as they get a better system in place and the prices are a little bit better. I'll probably incorporate more grading into my system, but for right now, it's mostly buying and trading.
Because it really, the truth is, the PSA label just holds so much value. Like, I got this bad boy back, this SGC Louis Hamilton, a gold refractor out of 50, and it's a beautiful slab. The SGC slab, it doesn't have the demand on the market. There's not people looking for these slabs, but what you are seeing though, the Great Curator, and which I think will help these other card companies, is this: all the other grading LCSs and other things are using SGC. When they resell cards now, a lot of them you're seeing, like my boy Mealy Pops and from et cetera, on their live sales, you're seeing a lot of these slabs that they're reselling, right? Because they don't have PSAs not there. So they've been using these, and they've been using CSG. And so you're going to see more of these slabs in the market, which I think what will happen is it doesn't take away from PSA, but it maybe helps create a little more demand for some of the other grading companies across the board, because I mean, CSG, which is another sleeper, is tied up with Fanatics. I think, Blackstone Group, you don't know exactly what's going to roll out there, but they have a beautiful slab, the CSG slab. Have you seen the CSG slab? The actual slab is pretty dang impressive outside of the label.
Mm-hmm. It's quality. I mean, people don't like the label, but if you look at their TCG labels for the Pokemon Magic, like that's based off of their comic book labels, which I personally, I love it. I think it's a really sharp looking label.
Yep.
And, just to speak to your point about that, Travis, like, I think there's a certain psychology within the hobby where everybody kind of like follows the large mass crowd. Right. And largely due to marketing, PSA has captured that market share where people put a premium on it. And these other ones like SGC, and all the other ones, they haven't got there yet. But as you said, as all these group submitters start to flood the market with these slabs, and people start seeing them, they get used to them,
and they buy them. They buy them. If you buy them, you believe in it. Let's just be real.
Well, because I think that here's a common misconception a lot of people have. People are buying the label. They're buying the label, the grade. They're not buying the card.
Right.
But once they realize that they should be focusing on the card, more so than the label, I think those other grading companies will pick up.
Yep. I remember another Harold Hassel, Eric, another great dude in the hobby. He works for PWCC now. He was always saying, just focus on the centering on your, on your BGS slabs and things like that, because there's so much value in just having, it's the card. It's not necessarily the slab. You're actually buying the card.
Some of those slabs like BGS, for example, or SGC, it's like half the value of a PSA slab.
A third sometimes. Shit, a third or a quarter sometimes you could pick these cards up for, and it's the same card.
If it's the same card, and if you value those companies and their expertise, I mean, what's to stop somebody from opening that SGC 10, right, and putting it in a PSA slab and to get that value?
Absolutely. Someone could just crack that thing. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I've had experience that. I've cracked a lot of cards, SGC and BGS, and to me, it's very on par. I mean, it's a lot of subjective too, because you never know what PSA graders will do, but it's not a huge gap in terms of the grades.
It's true. I think that the hobby evolves obviously over time, and we're seeing that more. Fanatics might 10x the whole hobby with Josh Luber's mindset and things like that by exposing it to the millions of customers I already have. And if you have that, every card you have, especially on-card autos and things like that, are going to become just so valuable, because there's no way you can go back in time, and there's no way you can get that back. Like a Kobe auto, you can't get that back on card. Again, it's going to be hard to, unless you buy it. They might have some stickers in the Panini vault somewhere, but you can't ever get a Kobe on card, right?
That's really interesting that you bring up Josh Luber, because I'm analyzing his paper. I don't know if you read his paper that
I've seen notes and I've been listening to. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to make a video where I summarize the points, but
I like it.
I'm going through it and I'm analyzing. I just made my notes on this today, and man, like I do believe, like he makes a very strong point that there is going to be a time when Fanatics comes in that he predicts there's going to be a large boom. Influx of people coming in, and that's going to have a huge impact on the hobby. So that's going to be really exciting when that comes. And you're right, when the demand, or all these new people come in and the demand goes up 10x, they can't go back and buy those cars. They're not going to make those Kobe autos anymore, right?
Right.
So
there's going to be the new stuff they can buy, but there's going to be
they'll buy the new stuff at that time, but they always go back to the legends or the people that they grew up watching, right?
100.
Yeah. So
especially if they make money and they can do the same thing. If there's profit in it for everybody, there's 10x the profit for everybody. Yeah. And there's going to be people that get squeezed. I think the breakers, to be transparent with you, I think anyone, let's just be real, because I have distributor access. I'm not going to say to who, but I got distributor access, and I don't have tons of allocation, but I get allocation, and I see what they pay. You're paying $150 for a box, you're breaking for $1,000.
Right.
There's margin in there. So they're going to somewhat squeeze that down where the consumer gets to what they want. Like he talked about with the reverse auctions and stuff, where basically not like the Panini's doing it right now, but basically where you're willing to submit. How much are you willing to pay for this? They take the lowest bid and they basically make everyone pay that. Mm-hmm. So they say, hey, Travis wants to pay $700. Dan wants to pay $550. Everyone pays $550. Everyone's happy at that price.
Yeah.
They still make more margin, right, than they were before, because they were only selling it before for $150. Now they're making $550. But who gets squeezed? Anyone in the middle that's reselling that. Now the local card shops are going to still be fine. You know what I mean? Because they sell singles, they do all sorts of stuff. But if you're just doing breakers only, or if you aren't diversifying it and putting your stuff on eBay and doing a bunch of different things outside of just that, you're going to be stuck by the water, because you've been getting easy money. Let's just be real. If you can get allocation, the Great Curator, you can make millions.
Right.
If you can get allocation right now, like if I can get allocation of all the newest products, millions for the next few years until Fanatics comes in.
And to speak to that point, Travis, is so interesting. Like the breakers, they're killing it right now, which is great for them, right? They found a niche where they can exploit it,
right?
But I think for us to get to that next level, there has to be some fat that gets cut off, and unfortunately, it's going to be the breakers that get squeezed
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But for the greater good of the hobby and allowing people more access at affordable prices, I think that is necessary. And I think that based off of what I'm reading in Josh Luper's paper, that is something that they are studying, a lot to see what they can do about that.
100. It just makes sense. You know what I mean? It just makes sense. And if you're a good breaker, you still will find different ways. Look at the mystery packs and look at all different things you can do, man. We even do it on art. We have a little breaking thing that we do on every Sunday morning where you can come up with different ways of giving value, sell, to be transparent with you, slabs that are sitting on eBay for years, and put them in packs and kind of force sales through a mystery of getting a bigger card. And actually, at the end of the day, we try to just provide the most value too, but there's tons of new ways to sell. So if you're creative, let's just be real, you're just not going to be able to make the 10X.
Right.
And it's going to be more like 2X, 3X. And so you're going to have to find other ways of making money, which is, hey, that's fine. It's,
if you put that in any other type of business, like if you could say, oh, you will make two or 3X
allocation of this,
people would love that, right? But I think these people, they've been spoiled just because of the demand that's come in the last couple of years.
Yeah. And it's all relationship to that allocation, man. I mean, it really is. If you can get the allocation to that product, you're gold right now.
Yeah.
And if you've been gold for the last couple of years, let's just be real, because I just told you guys the breakdown. It's not on every box, but it could be up to 10X, 5X easy.
Yeah.
4 to 5X easy on everything. So let's just be real. Like you just talked about, any business in the world, a restaurant, if you could come in and just do that on every restaurant, they would be loving you. If you could do that with a car, they would be loving you. It just doesn't really, it's not realistic. So you got to learn to be smart and collect what you love.
Happy with 20%, let alone
absolutely,
let alone 1,000%.
Hey, the stock market 8%, right? Like, I mean, if you're a safe investor, you're doing 8%, and you're happy with that, and that really does build value over time, even at 8%. So now, what are the kind of things you love to collect? And we talked about the PMGs. I see you have an incredible PMG collection. Do you hold on to some of those ones that you have on posting, or you kind of all have those in the sales process / PC?
The PMGs are currently not for sale. Really,
there you go.
I'm hoarding them. I'm hoarding them, guys. I'm sorry. I'm hoarding them all
those.
Just because I want to get them graded and I want to see what they can do. But over the last year, I've really kind of tried to focus my collection on just a few niche areas like PMGs.
Got you.
Upper Deck Exquisite auto cards.
Beautiful.
The rare rookies, of course. Right. And rare wrestling cards.
Oh, nice. Who's the wrestling PC? Anyone in the wrestling PC?
I love all those guys from like the late 80s, early 90s. Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, Macho Man, the Attitude Era, The Rock, Stone Cold. See, that's my generation.
Me too, brother.
I love all those guys. And I think that wrestling cards are super affordable right now because that market hasn't really taken off yet. So I'm focusing on acquiring whatever I can. I'm basically in acquisition mode right now. I believe that there's going to be something that's going to happen down the line in the next 1 to 3 years. So I'm in acquisition mode right now.
I love that, dude. Those are good markets too, man. I like that because it's always good to be in markets that people aren't necessarily in. I always thought that too with the grading process. When I was getting back my grading, I was like, I'm not going to just be grading all this modern stuff. I'm going to be finding stuff like Paul Arvin to grade, and where you could at least make margin. And even at a 4, I'm 6'4", 6Xing, 5Xing my money. And on a bigger card, 20Xing your money on what you put into it, what you graded it for, and then what you got it for. And then I literally list these things on eBay, and the next day or two they sell, because obviously it's such a big market. And like I said, for me personally, the Great Curator, I'm a pop entrepreneur. I don't have the time. I wish we're in Central Valley. We got very little shows out here. For me to drive to LA to hustle a show, it wouldn't make much sense. And to have the ability to have both, because at some point I'm going to be popping up on the shows. I got the Millie Pops and I have all these friends in the hobby that I've interviewed, Pole Kings, and, a lot of just good people, the Great Curator that I want to shake hands with and I want to meet. And so these bigger shows like the National and some of these ones, I want to try to maybe plan a family trip and something like that where I can pop up and do some shows. And because there's nothing like that. There's nothing like the friendship, even at scale, building it through the Zoom and through breaks and through just the communication through direct message and things like that are still friendship, even though it's not exactly like, shaking someone's hand, chopping it up and having a lunch, but it's all at scale too. So it's the beautiful thing that we live in the world today, my man. So no online platforms for sale?
I'm on all of them. I'm on like
Got you.
MySlabs and
Got
eBay.
you.
I just don't transact heavily anymore just because I don't need to, because I'm at the
Got you.
show every week.
Absolutely.
When I first started, I was on those things like real heavy, and I was selling a lot on volume. But I just noticed at shows, I'm
It's
able
the
to
same
spend,
liquidity. It's the same opportunity.
and it's easy.
Less listing time, less photo time.
Less logistics on like shipping and returns and all that stuff. And it's just a lot more fun for me. So that's where my focus is on that. But just to speak to your point about like the online community and the shows, how they kind of work together, it's so great, dude. Like these big destination shows like Dallas, the National, you could meet a friend from like across the country, interact with them online, and then you get to meet with them at the shows, which is so cool, right? It's like a family reunion almost type.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. I know I gotta shake my hand. My Mealy Pops. I do a lot of business with Jamil over there at Shop Mealy Pops because he's just a good dude in the hobby, and he had him on the podcast early on, and then he opportunity to other people, and it's just been a great thing, as well as good prices, and so that's the bottom line. If you can get, and then good shipping, you're going to get the package ship. We embrace some of the online platforms, like we have Whatnot, you have Network.
Oh yeah.
The beautiful thing about some of those platforms is like in a 1 hour show, you can sell some of your inventory that you might not be selling on eBay as fast or etc. through a mystery pack idea. Along with, we'd like to put packs and some other stuff in there, so you're really getting the value, ripping things and things like that. But the beautiful thing is they're international. I mean, we have German buyers, Japan.
Are you on Whatnot?
We're on Whatnot. We are on Network, and so on Whatnot, it is we just try to do it on Sunday mornings, Dan. We try to do the mystery packs, and we just try to have fun with the people, with the folks. Maybe sometimes they get an autographed jersey. I don't know.
Wow.
Give away cards. Give away cards. But the beautiful thing about those platforms is it is kind of like a show in that a little bit of transaction, but it's you're there for an hour or two. You're wheeling and dealing, and it kind of has
Whatnot. I need to get on Whatnot.
You're gonna get on Whatnot. Hey, they want
work for me.
Did you put in your submission?
Yeah, I put in my application. I've been waiting for about 3 months.
I know, dude.
I think they must be packed or something.
They're packed, dude. They're packed. The bottom line is, I think that they don't want 1 million people to come on there at some point, because then it would just clog their whole flow. And that's why you also look at, and I will introduce you to the folks at Network, which the Network is like Home Shopping Network. It's basically like a much bigger idea. They have like Adidas drops, so they have, it's a lot of clothing drops, a lot of shoe drops, a lot of designer drops. And they're trying to go after the collectible market, and so they've worked with some of the other sellers that have good good followings, but also have product to sell. And you never know, maybe there's an opportunity there. I always like to try to be on a variety if there is possible. But Network is beautiful because the Great Curator, it's all new people to the hobby. Like these people are not. It's not like Whatnot. Whatnot's only sports cars. These people are buying, and transparently, it's a lot of sales happening. I mean, you're talking 3-4 times the sales in an hour, because it's not as cluttered, right?
Wow. Okay.
So I'm going to introduce you to Monica at Whatnot. I'm going to give them a shout out, and
appreciate it. Thank you.
And also, I'm sorry, Network and Whatnot. I'm going to put in notes here to my rep over there, just to say, hey man, I just had the Great Curator on, and he would be a perfect fit for the Whatnot app. Yeah. And because I think I think the strength is just trying to understand these new platforms. Mm-hmm. You don't have to just be only on one. Right. You don't have to do them all the time, but finding out how it works best for you and embracing somewhat of them, because that is the future.
Yeah.
And the beautiful thing is, hey, my man, you have a beautiful collection, you have an incredible source of cards, so you can literally buy things and be having them the next day going out the door. It's a liquid deal where you can literally be. Today you got the inventory because you have the shows and you got the relationships. Tomorrow, because this person in China, Japan, Germany, Switzerland can't get access to that card, buys it 100% profit, maybe. You know what I mean? Quick 100% out the door. And that's on a value base.
You got all these international people buying your stuff?
It happens both on the global shipping program on eBay, but the Network is the big one. Whatnot is not international, network is international, and was surprised there was about 30% of the orders were international.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hey.
And it just made sense because like they can't get this product too. Like they can't get packs like this and things like that. So I was like, damn, that makes really a lot of sense. I think this is a form of the future. You're going to see more and more platforms. I'm surprised eBay doesn't just go out and just use their venture capital arm to buy them all. Or
I think it's super healthy for people to get off of eBay, to be honest. Like,
yeah.
Well, not completely off, but they just have to understand that there's transactions that happen off of eBay. It's
100%, dude.
Yeah.
There needs to be. This is what there needs to be. The Great Curator. Let's come up with the best idea on earth for the hobby.
Okay.
The best comping tool in the world.
Are you asking me?
No, we need to find out. We need to create the best comping tool in the world. And that is a comping tool that literally a comp, like where they comp cards, where you comp cards from eBay, whatnot, network.
Let's talk about this for a second, Travis. This is interesting because I've been thinking about this lately. Card Ladder, right?
A great tool, an incredible tool, one of the best.
I just found out that Card Ladder, not only do they track other auction sites like Heritage, Golden, PWCC, now through some verification process that they use, they're tracking private sales now.
I know. I heard that.
Right? Yeah.
It's one of the best tools out there.
Very interesting. Like, I had this this gold Brady Kaboom, not my card, but I'm trying to move it for a client.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't think that there was any comps on that, but there's a private sale comp for that same card. There's only 2 of them out there on a Card Ladder.
Wow.
So I think that, and not a lot of people know what Card Ladder is.
It's
kind of under the radar, but I think that platform that they have, if they get some funding behind it and really go crazy with it, that could be the future. That could be the one. That could be the answer. Yeah,
because those, as long as the sales platform, whatnot, is willing to open up the API to the then it's on. You know what I mean? Yeah. You can somewhat open it up so we can kind of see what stuff's happening on it, whatnot. Because the whatnot is, every breaker's on whatnot. All the big ones are on there. The reason why they're on there is because it's easy. It's the transaction happens. There's no if and that, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of the liability happens then on whatnot. So then the breaker's safe as long as they ship, blah, blah, blah. It's the future, right? It is the future. If it's not whatnot, it's something else. But the most important thing is you got to be able to do it right. You got to be able to do it right for the customer. Most importantly,
right?
100%, dude. 100%. And that's the most important thing too in the hobby is to flush out all the BS and kind of the people. And that's what I love about your content is if you watch his shows, folks, he's straight to the truth about the hobby, ways and tactics to, if you want to call it, approach a show, ways to negotiate and things like that. And I appreciate what you do for the hobby, my man. That's why I wanted to have you on the show today. Now, we're about to get into your top 10. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Apple or Android?
Apple.
Netflix or YouTube?
YouTube.
Instagram or Facebook?
Instagram.
Chicken or steak?
Steak,
baby. Let's go. Laptop or smartphone?
Oh, smartphone.
Spotify or Pandora?
Spotify.
Movies or video games?
Movies.
Reading books or listening to books?
Reading books.
Stocks or real estate?
Real estate.
Oceans or lakes if you want to go for a vacation?
Seeing that I have 2 Airbnb lake houses, lakes.
Bam! There you go. So is that another way that you diversify your income? Is Airbnb rentals?
Yes, that. Well, I'm heavily in the real estate area, so
dude.
Within that market too, we do rentals, commercial, Airbnb.
Got you. So it's such a great invention of the technology, Airbnb,
right.
for people to diversify their portfolios, but then to logistically have someone show up at the door, and pay the bills and have the platform and everything. It's just incredible.
It's all done on the phone. It's amazing. Cool. You can run a business just from this phone,
dude. And I know
through that platform. It's amazing.
People that, they got one of my buddies got 10, one of my buddies got 2. And he's like, dude, they can make, these things are gin and cash, baby.
If you're smart with it, like, I know this is not like hobby related, but you can make like 3 or 4x what you would make on a regular rental property if you do Airbnb correctly, though.
Right. Yeah. I'm sure through the process, like anything, there's learning, there's things you got to do to avoid and vet out probably the people just in case there's some interesting people trying to show up at your door.
Right.
But a couple last questions for you, my man. When you're waking up for your day, why do you love being you?
Because I would say just because I'm so blessed just to be able to have control of my life. I have my own businesses. I don't work for anybody. I set my own schedule. If I want to jump on a podcast with Travis
Let's
at 2 o'clock
go.
on a Friday, I can do it. I don't have to ask for permission. So for me, I'm happy every day. I've got a family I love. I got friends and family. I've got everything I want. So I'm just the happiest guy in the world.
So awesome, brother. That's the best thing too about being an entrepreneur is your time,
Yes.
controlling that time. Do you think you'll ever retire from the game of entrepreneurship and curation?
No, because I'll tell you this, I don't do it for the money. I don't do it for, whatever benefits. I do it because I love the process and I'm having fun. And to me, it's not work at all. Like I could do this 24/7, 365 days a year until I drop dead and I'll be happy about it. So I'll never stop.
That's all you can ask for too, man, that you actually love what you do, folks. And if you don't, pick up a hobby, find something to do, collect something, I like to say. And just find some interest in life because life is beautiful and it's short at the same time as we're finding out the last couple of years, with this couple of viruses and things like that. It's short. Life is short for many different reasons. So might as well embrace it. And I always like to say, living the dream. That's where a sports card is. Living the dream. Sports cards is every day, baby. Living the dream. Do you have a way of starting your day? Is there a way of you getting your mindset ready for the day?
Well, for me, like maybe this is a bad habit, but I wake up, I do my morning routines and then I just jump on my phone and I look at the news in the community, in the car community, and that makes me happy. I look at people's posts.
Nice.
I respond to messages, all that stuff. And that gets me jump started for the day.
Love that, dude. Love that. Do you spend a certain amount of time doing that or just whenever you feel good, you're like, all right, on the day?
To be honest, probably way more than I should throughout the day. But again, I love the process, dude. It's like, I don't know. I can't even imagine. It's like, to me, it's just natural, right? I'm always on my phone looking at things, but I'm also highly productive in other areas too.
Of course.
But whenever I need to have fun and jumpstart my day, or get a little bit of energy, I just go online and see what's going on with the community. And I'm always with people too. I love it too.
Jump out of fighting fires to enjoying a little bit of the hobby and seeing people cool cars people got, fun things that they pulled and things like that too.
To speak to that point real quick here is like the hobby for me. I know a lot of people are profit first and they do all this stuff and for them it's a business, but for me it's an escape. I've got all these things, all these responsibilities in my life. So when that gets to be a little bit too much, I jump into the card world and it's just nothing but fun and I forget about all my problems.
I love that, dude. Do you have a favorite app on your phone right now?
The favorite eBay.
eBay, baby, buying them deals. It's a good time to buy right now.
Rolling that search list every day, every hour just to see what pops up.
Do you save certain searches or how do you go about it? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've got probably the max amount that you're allowed to save, 200 pictures or anything. I have all that laid out. Sometimes I have to delete and make some cuts to add some new ones.
Nice.
But it's great because it's like every hour there's new things that pop up that I might be interested in.
100%, dude. I find that all the time. My new listings have a ton of action on them. Do you like to buy auctions or do you like to just make bids or offers?
Both.
Yeah.
I do everything. If I can get it at a best offer price, I'll take my shot at it.
Right.
If I have to wait till last minute and do a little snipe bid, I'll do that too. But whatever it takes, if I see something I like, I go for it.
Yeah. Definitely some of the auction houses are doing something. They talk about the shilling, but someone's doing something because I'm like, this card just went for double the other card. It's the same card.
That's something.
But it's the followers. It's like on Whatnot. It's like a following. Okay. Like I always try to tell people, someone on Whatnot that has 1 million followers or the most amount, when they go live, just like anyone goes live on anything, on any platform, they'll have a ton more people to talk to.
Right.
And so that makes more demand for their product. Someone else goes live and there's 5 people. They only got 5 buyers to sell to. They can't quite get the same. It's the same thing with eBay auctions because PWCC or Probstein or all the best ones, they send out stuff constantly, email lists to their people. They constantly are using their email marketing and they're using their followers and they're using subscribers. Plus, they have 1 million positive reviews and they're in cahoots, if you want to call it, with eBay because they do a lot of business together. So they're going to be the top listing and they're going to have, and so that's just part of the game. And that's why that card sold for double. In some cases, I think it's just because of the following too. Right. And I don't know the rest. People talk about a lot of different things. You never know. I think Mac Jones shilling might be really right now, but outside of that, it's just interesting because I think it is part the following. Like it is part the following. If you can get more viewers to your eBay auctions every day, you're going to be having more people action on bids, right? Like it just makes sense versus some guy that has one person at the eBay auctions looking, I'm going to get everything for 99 cents. Okay. Dan's the only one buying things today versus another guy has the same set of cards, but he's got 50,000 extra followers following him because part of it is an organic algorithm that happens on eBay, but then part of it is how many followers do you have visiting your store, etc. And I see it constantly, dude. When you buy from one of those big auction houses, they hit you over the head with the eBay listing.
Right. Marketing. You know what's interesting about this is like, this is a problem that somebody needs to figure out. Not me, but like somebody really, way smarter than us to figure this out. But there's two issues with that. Number one is that there's no consequence for show bidding, right? You could bid it up $1 million. And the worst thing that could happen to you is you get like a strike or something like that. Your
profile gets banned or something.
It often doesn't happen. And then you just make another profile or whatever. Right. You know, and then number two is like the dependence, the psychological dependence that the market has on using eBay as the comps for values of cards, right? It's misplaced, in my opinion, for the exact same reasons you just mentioned.
Yeah, it's true. And the inequity is just different. The market will eventually go to a platform that has it all figured out. There's Card Ladder. I see recently there's Alt that's doing a different comp thing. There's the Market Movers, Jeff, the great sports card investor, another great free app or paid app. There's and I think you kind of blend of all of them, right? Like you just try to look at all of them. And at the end of the day, make your best judgment on what you think the value of the card is. And at some point, I always like to say, leave a little room for the next guy or gal, you know, leave a little room for them to resell it if they need to, or if they're going to grade it, leave a little room for them, because then what you have is maybe a repeat buyer or a repeat follower on your eBay store that they see another card in a year or something. Or I've seen a lot, especially on the eBay, is the other card shops buying from me because they can't get access to some cards, etc. They buy 50, 20 cards from me every so many weeks because that's just how they do it, you know, to add. And I'm sure they're not just doing it with one person. And obviously you're doing that, you're getting deal on shipping because obviously you're going to get all those cards shipped to you and not have to pay shipping for each one, et cetera, you know? So it makes sense. A couple last questions for you, my man, before we roll. If you could sit down and chop it up with anyone in the world to a steak dinner, who would it be?
Alive or?
It does not matter, actually. We've had everybody.
Oh man. For me, I would say right now, I would say Elon Musk.
There you go, baby. We need to get him in the hobby. We need to get him a hobby. He'll 10x it overnight. One tweet.
he is such on a different level. I would just love to just to try to see the world through his eyes for an hour.
Best investment I ever did, man. Cost basis of $5 Tesla stock, baby. Woo! Let's go. It split. It was a $20, but it split. But $5 now cost basis. I always tell people if he ever IPOs anything else, join the club. Right. Just buy it. You know what I mean? And he would be a great person to get in the hobby because he likes, some of the crypto stuff and he wants to diversify and things like that. He's selling some of his stock. We need to get Elon Musk into the hobby with one tweet. He can literally at least double the market on anything. I guarantee it, man. Just because you see the power of his tweets already. Right. Well, I love you, man. You're a great dude in the hobby. I appreciate what you do for the hobby. Keep putting out incredible content. Keep finding that collection, man, and curating. And I'm gonna put in the good word with the Whatnot and Network too, just on top, just because. Why not, dude? Why not put in the good word for my man, the Great Curator? But tell our listeners, where is the best place to find you online?
I've got two. Basically, I'm on two social media accounts: Instagram at the Great Curator, and then that's if you want to see my personal collection and just see like fun stuff. I make funny videos and things like that.
I love your reels, man. I love your reels, man.
Thank you. If you want more educational stuff or to get like as much knowledge as you can to help you in the hobby, watch my YouTube channel. It's also at the Great Curator. I put a lot of informational videos on there. It's all education. It's all free and all that stuff. I do vlogs of shows so you can see me use the tactics that I try to teach you guys and things like that. So those are my two platforms.
I love it, brother. Well, keep curating and keep being great in the world and putting out those videos, man. I love it. You guys can learn so much from my man. Folks, you've been hanging out with the Great Curator and Travis Too Tall and Huff. We want to thank you again for your time today, and let's keep being real.
What another epic
episode. And if you enjoyed the episode today, can you please do me a favor and subscribe to our podcast, The Be Real Show, on iTunes or your favorite podcast platform. And also take a little time today, if you don't mind, and give your boy T Huff a review. I would really super appreciate it. And thank you so much for listening today. Do you want to get featured on podcasts, guys? You can be a guest. And that's right, you have a story, and the people, the good folks at I Love Podcasts, that's ILUV podcasts.com, do that every single day. This is a new company, guys, in the space of podcast agency, and they realize a lot of the people in the space it's just a commodity, and they don't care. And these folks care. And I literally love Kenny and the team at I Love Podcasts, and they are doing it right for their customers. So you guys can be a guest on a show. ilovepodcast.com. That's ILUV podcasts.com. Let's go.